We are Black Force. We are Arizona.
It's stop number 3 on this season's first road trip. D-backs took 2 of 3 in both St. Louis and San Francisco. And now we're here in Los Angeles for 3 over the weekend. Our first visit to Chavez Ravine this year. It's the D-backs and the Dodgers on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Dodger Stadium and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs coming into tonight 9-3. Off to their best start ever at this point in the season. The Dodgers have been slow to get going this year, only 4-7, and already 4.5 games off the pace in the National League West. Bob, Zach Greinke gets the baseball tonight for the Diamondbacks. Last time he pitched in this building, he was very good.
Yeah, we'll take similar numbers to what he did last time on September 5th in the postseason. Went 7 innings, gave up only 4 hits and a run in that game, struck out 6 Dodgers, only walked 1 batter. We'll take that kind of performance tonight from Zach Greinke.
Offense has been clicking this week so far. 3 games in San Francisco, and it sure looks like Goldie is back.
It seems like all Goldie needs to do to get healthy is to go to San Francisco, play 3 games at AT&T. He went 5 for 12 with 5 runs driven in. 4 of his hits went for extra bases. He's back.
Greinke and Maeda, the D-backs and the Dodgers, the first of 3 from LA. First pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona.
D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By APS. APS works 24/7 to keep you plugged in, powered up, and connected. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. Is brought to you by Chaz Roberts, Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Amstel X Light, grab the 90 cal 2-car beer with the great taste today. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free jumbo jacks only at Jack in the Box.
D-backs have won 4 straight series to open a season for the first time in their history. Zach Greinke gets the baseball to start this one, and it's next on Fox Sports Arizona. Friday Night X-Light, the final stop on this first road trip in 2018. Dodger Stadium. After the D-backs took 2 of 3 in St. Louis and San Francisco on this trip. D-backs off to their best start in a decade at 9-3. They've never opened a season 10-3. It is sunny and 73 degrees, a very comfortable night here at Dodger Stadium. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson along the way. First of 3, the D-backs and the Dodgers. And here is the lineup for Dave Roberts' Boys in Blue. That's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Now taking the field, your Los Angeles Dodgers.
Dave Roberts wishes he could run a lineup like this out there. David Peralta starting in left field, back in the lineup. Cattell Marte at second base. Paul Goldschmidt at first base with Daniel Descalso across the diamond at third. Chris Owings out in right field. Gerard Dyson in center. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Jeff Mathis, as usual, doing the catching for right-hander Zach Greinke.
Your Ram truck starter for LA, the right-hander Kenta Maeda. He just turned 30 years old Wednesday. Maeda has worked 6 innings this year, both as a starter and in relief. He struck out a dozen batters without giving up a run.
Yeah, he was a real key piece of the Dodgers bullpen in the postseason last year. He went a perfect 2-0 with an ERA under 1 in 9 postseason relief appearances. And because of the early off days in the schedule, they skipped his spot in the rotation, bumped him to the bullpen for 1 appearance, and now back in the rotation against the D-backs tonight.
A look around the diamond at the Dodgers defensively. That's presented by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Matt Kemp starting a miniature Oscar Gamble look out there in left field. Chris Taylor will be in center. Yasiel Puig over in right field. It'll be Logan Forsythe and Corey Seager on the left side of the infield. Kike Hernandez and Cody Bellinger on the right side. Yasmani Grandal behind the plate tonight for right-hander Kenta Maeda.
Dan Isonia will call the balls and strikes tonight. He's our plate umpire. Adrian Johnson at first base, Hal Gibson at second, and the crew chief Brian Gorman is at third. Time now, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, maybe a little bold, but hey, maintain your dominance. Diamondbacks have had their way with the Dodgers so far this season and last season, other than the postseason, which is what we're worried about. But more than anything else, continue to win series. We talk about it all the time. It's very tough to sweep a 3-game series in the major leagues. Just take 2 out of 3 and move along.
9 straight regular season wins against the Dodgers. That's the longest winning or losing streak by either side in the history of this series. And Torey Lovullo was quick to remind us today that's great, pretty impressive, but LA did win 3 pretty important ones in a row in the middle of all that.
Yeah. Well, lesson learned.
David Peralta will lead it off, 316, a pair of home runs. Late arriving crowd here in LA, a lot of yellow seats around the infield bowl. And we are set to go, the first of 3, the D-backs and the Dodgers from Los Angeles. Peralta sat out the games Tuesday and Wednesday in San Francisco to rest his sore left hand, something that's bothered him a bit since late in spring training. He had some pain between his left thumb and index finger after a swing in a Cactus League game at Goodyear. And Torey wanted to make sure David got the full amount of time to recover, because sometimes those things can linger. And they want to stay away from that if they can. It's good to have him back in the lineup and in the leadoff spot tonight. He has been the energy guy up top, just like Torey's been looking for.
Yeah, he really has been, and a lot of speed in the lineup tonight with Peralta back in there and Marte. We know Goldie's a great base runner. Chris Owings, Gerard Dyson, Nick Ahmed. A lot of speed in the Diamondbacks lineup tonight. See if Torey uses that speed offensively.
2 balls and 1 strike. Fouled away, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Kenta Maeda guy, he has quite an assortment of pitches out there. He'll rely heavily on a cutter-slider combination. He has a changeup. He has a slow curve ball. He'll try to sink his fastball from time to time, but you'll see a lot of cutters, a lot of sliders.
Those are the 2 out pitches D-backs hitters will be looking for tonight. This below the knees, and it's full 3-2. Maeda struck out 10 Giants in 5 innings in his only start this year. That was back on March 31st, nearly 2 full weeks ago. He worked an inning of relief last Saturday at San Francisco, and he walks the leadoff man here, so he might be a little rusty tonight.
He could be a little rusty, and the more pitches you can make him throw earlier in the ball game, the better off you're going to be. Maeda considered to be a 5-inning pitcher anyway. If you can run that pitch count up early, you may get him out before that.
He's aboard for Ketel Marte. Marte hitting .265, switch hitter batting from the left-hand side. That's a base hit into left field. A walk and a single start us off, and here comes Paul Goldschmidt.
First baseman number 44.
Probably should have anticipated that. Ketel Marte, 5 for 6 lifetime, now 6 for 7 lifetime against Kenta Maeda. Opposite field slashing single, puts runners at first and second for Goldie.
Just the start they were looking for. Goldie, a stop in San Francisco, seemed to breathe some fresh energy into that bat. Now at 190, a pair of homers. Everything he hit against the Giants seemed to be crushed right off the barrel of the bat. Makes a big cut at a first pitch fastball. This was Goldie in San Francisco, 2 home runs and hit 2 more balls that went off the wall at AT&T Park.
Well, could have easily had 4 home runs in that series. As it is, he had 2 homers, a double, a triple, drove in 5, scored 4, and that sound came back. You mentioned barreling everything up, and when Goldie barrels it up, everybody in the ballpark knows it.
Yes, he went, says Adrian Johnson, and Maeda's ahead 0-2. One down in the first.
Third baseman number 3, Daniel Descalso.
Goldie has that reputation of being a very patient hitter, so Maeda just went right after him that time. 3 strikes right by him.
Boy, that's the Maeda that we've seen this year. A lot more aggressive with that fastball than he has been in the past. He's challenging hitters like he really never has before. Daniel Descalso in the cleanup spot, 179 and a home run.
There's a Maeda curveball at 77, just dropped it in there, stealing a strike, jumping ahead in the count.
Daniel had an RBI double, scored a run in his only at bat Wednesday in the win over the Giants.
Not really a shift for Daniel Descalso, but Corey Seager will move a few steps up the middle of the field, and that puts him right behind David Peralta running at second base. Very tough to get a jump out there right now.
That one is rolled into left field. Tony Perez-Chica waving David Peralta. The throw from Kemp is cut off, and it's 1-0 D-backs. The RBI single for Daniel Descalso.
16th first inning run for the Diamondbacks this year. Another opposite field drive. We told you that Corey Seager was cheating up the middle behind the runner, and Daniel Descalso takes advantage of that hole in the left side of the infield. Aggressive send by Tony Perez-Chica, challenging the arm of Matt Kemp, and the D-backs take an early lead.
Still 2 on and 1 out, and now here's Chris Owings. Dodgers 0-6 when they give up the first run of the game this year. The way their offense has slumped, it's been hard to get it back when they lose a lead. CO 316 and a home run. 6 hits on the road trip so far. That one is low, and it's 1-0 on Owings. Dodgers, with 3 off days and a rain out in the last 8 days, have really had to juggle their rotation. And one of the parts of the solution for Dave Roberts was to ask Kenta Maeda to move into the bullpen only for a week so they could sort of readjust everything, and he did that. His contract is loaded with incentives for starts and innings pitched, so it was a little bit of a big deal, and he insisted he didn't mind. But he did point out he wants to start as many times as he can.
Seems kind of odd with all the off days you mentioned that the Dodgers have had recently that they're still carrying an 8-man bullpen.
Right back to the mound. They get 1 at second, and they turn the double play. But the Diamondbacks strike first, the early run for Zach Greinke in Los Angeles. Early lead for your Ram Trucks starter for the D-backs, Zach Greinke. The former Dodger back in LA, still looking for his first win this year, coming off a loss in St. Louis's record cold conditions last Saturday.
Yeah, coming off a real good start against the Rockies. His first time out, gave up 5 hits and 1 run, struck out 9 Rockies, didn't walk a batter. Last time out against the Cardinals, they banged him around a little bit, but 5 strikeouts, no walks in that ball game.
Chris Taylor will lead it off for LA, the center fielder. Taylor batting just .208 to start the year with a homer. He led off Tuesday's game here against Oakland with a home run, so be careful here. Taylor, even though he's batting only .208, has hit safely in 9 of his 11 games this season. This is in, and it's 2-0.
That's one thing about hitting higher in the order. You get more at bats. Even though he's gotten his hits, the batting average is not where it should be because he's getting 4 or 5 at bats every game. You hide down there in that 7 or 8 spot, you might only get 3 at bats in a game.
You should talk to the analytics people. You might be onto something there. 2-1 on the Dodgers center fielder. This is belted deep to left. Peralta will watch it go. Second leadoff home run this week for Chris Taylor, and we're tied at 1.
Shortstop number 5.
You said it, partner. Chris Taylor got some thump in that bat and takes advantage of a bad miss right there. You saw where Jeff Mathis was set up on the outside corner. That fastball is right down the middle.
Second of the year for Taylor. Here's the shortstop, Seager. Bit of a slow start for Corey Seager, 214 and a home run. He and Taylor went back-to-back to open up the ball game Tuesday against the A's here. And that is still Seager's only base hit all year, and now they're calling for the trainer. Something's wrong with Zach Greinke.
Yeah, he stepped off the first base side of the mound and was kind of cranking his back around, bent over at the waist. Not sure exactly what the issue is, but it's enough to draw the attention of Jeff Mathis, who then called the umpire and Torey Lovello and the trainer out to the mound.
Ryan DePanfilo out there asking what's wrong. Greinke moving awkwardly. Here's a look.
Didn't see anything glaringly obvious, but right there, Zach Greinke immediately recognizing that something is not right.
Well, he keeps sort of twisting his torso around side to side. Certainly looks uncomfortable right now. Something's not right.
I talk about it with hitters that occasionally foul the ball off their front foot, and the pain just doesn't magically go away. You have to continue to play with it, and that's what Zach is trying to figure out right now. Is this a serious injury that I need to come out of the game for, or did I just tweak a muscle a little bit and I can pitch through it?
Remember, he walked off the mound at Salt River Fields in the middle of March after only 1 inning with had that slight groin tweak. But he's telling Dan Isonia and Ryan DePanfilo that he's able to continue, so we'll see.
And that's not considered a meeting on the mound. You saw Dan Isonia look over to Dave Roberts in that third base dugout and give the safe sign. Anytime it's an injury checkup and you call the trainer out there to the mound, that's not considered a visit.
So it's 0-1 on Seager following the Taylor home run. Oh, 0-2. If they did need some length out of the bullpen, if Greinke was not able to continue, it's likely that we'd see TJ McFarland, who can give Torey some innings out of that bullpen. Well, Greinke bounces back and strikes out Seager for the first out. Here's the Dodgers lineup presented by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Chris Taylor led it off. He'll be out in center field. Corey Seager will be playing shortstop tonight. Matt Kemp making his way to the plate. He'll be out in left field with Cody Bellinger at first base. Yasmani Grandal doing the catching. Yasiel Puig out in right field. Logan Forsythe at third base. Kike Hernandez at second. And right-hander Kenta Maeda on the mound.
Kemp is the Dodgers' hottest hitter right now. 3 straight multi-hit games. Greinke misses up and it's 1-0. 355 and a home run for Kemp. 7 hits in his last 12 at bats coming into this one. Gets the strike call from Dan Isonia. 1-1.
But if you're Mike Butcher over in that first base dugout now, you're watching every move that Zach Greinke makes out there on the mound, checking velocity on pitches. Anything that's an indicator that Zach is not himself out there tonight. He's trying to pitch through whatever the issue was.
Bullpen is in pretty good shape coming into this one. So you could ham and egg it through 9 innings if you had to. Kemp fouls that one back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kemp is the hot bat in this LA lineup right now, hitting third. That's the highest he's hit in the order all season. Cody Bellinger would be next. Oh, Greinke bounces back after the Taylor homer to strike out Seager and Kemp.
First baseman, number 35.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers has a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
Well, so far Zach has only needed a catcher, but David Peralta will be out in left field. Gerard Dyson in center. Chris Owings in right. It'll be Descalso, Ahmed, Marte, and Goldschmidt third to first across the infield with Jeff Mathis behind the plate for Zach Greinke.
Big swing and a miss by Bellinger. 268 with a home run. Just 2 extra base hits in 11 games to start the year. Bellinger had 4 hits, all singles, in the 15-inning game at Chase Field last Monday. He was hitless in the series after that against the D-backs. A bouncer up the middle. It's by Marte and into right center. A 2-out single will bring up Yasmani Grandal.
Catcher, number 9.
Sometimes those big, strong power hitters that can hit the ball 500 feet almost at will, like Cody Bellinger, that's considered a win if you get him to hit an easy ground ball. That one snuck through into center field for a base hit, but a rollover grounder to the right side you'll take just about every time Bellinger's up there.
Grandal 375, the only LA hitter with more than 1 home run this year. He's been their best hitter to begin the season. That's a strike down and away, 0-1. Grandal already with 4 multi-hit games this year. He homered and doubled in their 16-6 loss to Oakland there on Wednesday night. Dodgers were off yesterday.
Grandal's been really good here at Dodger Stadium this season, hitting a cool .500, 7 for 14. including 1 homer and 3 RBIs here at Dodger Stadium.
That one almost hit him. It caught Mathis and rolls away.
I think it did get a piece of Grandal on the way by. Ooh, inside of the left knee, just below the knee perhaps.
Caromed off Grandal's knee and caught Mathis. So 2 on and 2 out for Yasiel Puig. Puig getting 205. He's yet to homer this year. Greinke will have at least a 20-pitch first inning. Fastball away. It's 1-0. Puig has hit third in Dave Roberts' lineup all season long, but he's stuck in a 4 for 19 skid right now. And so tonight Roberts dropped Puig to 6th in the batting order. First time he's hit anywhere other than third this year. Right at the knees, 1-1.
Well, as a manager, when your team is struggling offensively, you hesitate any knee-jerk reactions. You don't want to move a guy after a couple of games, but the way the Dodgers have struggled offensively, I think Dave Roberts said, I can't wait much longer. We got to do something to try to shake up this offense. So a couple guys hitting in different spots in the order here tonight.
Dodgers hitting just .223 as a team to this point in the year. They are 11th in the National League.
And unlike the Diamondbacks, I mentioned a lot of speed in the D-backs lineup tonight. A possibility that Torey Lovullo may push some buttons, play a little hit and run, steal some bases. The Dodgers don't have that luxury. They've stolen 5 bases, or they've attempted 5 stolen bases. They've been successful on 3 of them. 2 of those were Chase Utley.
Just below the knees. Isonia doesn't bite, and Puig is even 2-2. They, of course, are still without Justin Turner, who's recovering from that fractured left wrist suffered in spring training. Logan Forsythe, the on-deck hitter. There's the Red Menace, Justin Turner. He is still yet to touch a bat. There's still some lingering soreness in there. They have no idea when he'll be back. Not anytime soon, regardless. It's full on Puig, 3-2.
You know, I mentioned that Mike Butcher's going to have to keep a close eye on Zach Greinke after that injury earlier in the inning. He hit 92 on that last fastball. Doesn't seem to have affected his velocity.
No visible signs of discomfort from Zach once he resumed the inning.
No intent to pick off there, just an effort to drive the runners back to the base, shorten up that lead by maybe a step. That could make the difference on a play at the plate.
Bellinger is at second, Grandal's at first, runners on the move, and Puig strikes out. But Taylor's homer is tied it at 1.
Needed 25 pitches to get out of that inning. Did give up the homer to Chris Taylor there, but did end up getting 3 strikeouts swinging. So we'll see if he continues to be okay. Needed the trainers to come out. Came in, appeared to go down to the clubhouse just a moment ago. Assuming he continues to pitch, lower third of the zone is important for Zach. Last year, 46.7% of his outs came that way. Of course, we always hear keep the ball down. I asked Troy Lavello, what does that mean to him? He means, look, he sticks to a game plan. He knows the hitter's strengths and weaknesses, and he's able to, take advantage of that, and that's what we saw in that first inning. Also, guys, on the Dodgers, they're not trying to build it up in their minds. They don't want to put too much pressure on themselves when they're going up against this team, but Troy Lavello did admit, look, we know that if we want to find the standard, we just have to look across into the other dugout, so these games are important.
You're right, Joni. Regardless of the fact that the D-backs have won 9 straight regular season games against these guys, they were playing in Game 7 of the World Series last October. Gerard Dyson, the center fielder tonight, leads off the second against Kenta Maeda. And Dyson sends Puig back to the track in right field. He's at the wall, and he's got it. No wind to speak of at all right now, and that one was about 2 or 3 feet shy.
Sure sounded good off the bat for Dyson. I was just about to say I'd like to see him bunt for a base hit, and he very nearly hits it out of here. He chases Puig all the way to the out-of-town scoreboard, backs up against the wall after making the catch.
Big exhale for Kenta Maeda. Allowed out number 1. Here's the shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Nick batting .281. He's second on the team with 8 runs batted in. Breaking ball in there, and he steals strike 1.
And we've seen him do that a few times already in this ball game. Just roll that curveball up there with no intention of a swing and a miss. He's anticipating that the hitter's looking first pitch fastball. I'm just going to roll a curveball up there in the middle of the plate.
And then he'll get aggressive with that fastball. Maeda has been mixing in more hard cutters as an out pitch. He's got his usual slower sweeping slider. And that cut fastball has a little more velocity to it. Two balls and 1 strike. He's missed with 2 straight 4-seamers here. Keeps nibbling down there with a fastball. Gets the call that time, and it's 2-2.
That's a tough call. It appeared that pitch was a little bit off the outside corner. It was high enough. It was right at the knees, but just off the outside corner. Instead of 3-1, it's 2-2. Now you have to protect.
Out to Kike Hernandez at second, 2 outs.
Catcher number 2, Jeff Mathis.
Here's Jeff Mathis behind the plate tonight. Jeff 2 for 11 with an RBI. Dodgers are convinced that Kenta Maeda's experience in the bullpen last year really turned him around in terms of his attitude, his approach, his aggression on the mound. He's much more prone to go after hitters like he really never did before the big leagues. Something just kind of clicked at one point, Rick Honeycutt said, when Maeda was working out of the bullpen. He was terrific in their bullpen in the postseason. And now he's a bit of a different guy out there, attacking the hitter all the time. Different energy level with him. 1-2. Maeda wound up pitching 10 2/3 innings for LA in the postseason last year, all in relief, and gave up only 1 run. He was really good.
So now he's taken some of that reliever mentality into his starts.
You know, that's turning out to be a very valuable member of a postseason team, that starter that finds himself in the bullpen, because invariably one of your starters is either going to get knocked out early or struggle early in the ball game, and you need somebody to come in there and eat up some innings.
You saw Greinke is out there in the on-deck circle. 2-2 on Jeff Mathis. It's low. Full count, 3-2. Maeda walked Peralta to lead off the ball game. David wound up scoring on a Descalso single. Dodgers got the run back on a Chris Taylor home run. On the ground to third, Logan Forsythe. We're in Los Angeles. D-backs and Dodgers tied at 1.
The machine.
All-American. It's kind of annoying sometimes.
Just a pro, just a straight professional.
He's almost like too good, too nice.
Gosh, I hate to come on here and just say how good of a guy he is, but I mean, geez, I got nothing.
His teammates trying to describe Paul Goldschmidt. It's not easy.
Trying to find something negative to say about Goldie, and nobody could come up with anything.
Yep. Everybody blanked. Logan Forsythe, the lead off the LA second.
We know he does everything right on the field, and from what we've seen off the field, he does everything right there as well.
You know what?
Too good.
He's a very genuine guy. What you see really is what you get with Goldie. Behind the bag at first, Marte drifting over there near the line. And he's got it to start the home half of the second. Zach Greinke back out there, showing no ill effects from whatever was wrong at the top of the first, or the bottom of the first. And here's Kike Hernandez, the second baseman. .179 and 1 home run. A homer here Wednesday against the A's. Up and in for a strike.
Yeah, Kike Hernandez is one of those guys, depending on the day of the week, you'll get all kinds of different sock games from him.
Oh,
He's got the fake stirrups on with the pants down just above the ankle tonight. Tomorrow he may have the pants up around the knee, showing a lot of sock. And then the final game of the series, he may wear his pants right down on top of his shoes.
Well, Greinke so far has struck out 4 of the first 8 Dodger hitters he's faced. And with 2 down in the second, here's the pitcher, Kenta Maeda. Those look to be inverted stirrups on Kike Hernandez.
Not sure what that look was, but like I said, he'll come up with something different just about every day.
Maeda will run into one occasionally.
I give it up to Maeda. He stands where the hitters stand. Actually, he stands closer to the plate than some of the hitters stand. Usually you see a pitcher go up there to the plate and he wants to get as far away from that ball as he possibly can. But as you said, Maeda can swing it a little bit if you make a mistake.
Foul ground third base side. Descalso near the Dodger dugout, and it stays playable. Greinke works a 1-2-3 second. We're tied at 1 in Los Angeles.
Daniel Descalso with a really nice play here. Watch how he gets over to the railing where he thinks the ball is going to come down and then backs off of the dugout to make the play on the warning track. So many times you see corner infielders try to time their steps to get to the railing at the same time the ball does. That time Daniel got to the railing, knew where he was on the field. He's able to make that adjustment back into the field to play. Just a fundamentally solid play for a corner infielder.
That's a veteran move right there. It's one of the things Daniel Descalso brings to the equation with the D-backs.
In a lot of ways, he reminds me so much of Craig Counsell back on that 01 team. He just does everything right. Doesn't always come out right, doesn't always get a hit, doesn't always turn that double play, but he's always going to do the right thing.
You know, he's played in nearly 50 postseason games. He can defend all over the field. He knows what he can offer to the team. And as he says, his job whenever he gets a chance to play, go out there and play like whoever else has been starting there and just don't skip a beat, and he's done that. Zach Greinke will lead off the top of the third against Kenta Maeda, who's still finishing his warm-up toss.
A little bit of a delay. Maeda made that last out of the inning and was really slow getting back out to the mound, but it looks like we're ready to get underway here in the third.
And Bob, in looking at watching Zach Greinke,
don't see anything that seems to be bothering like it was in that bottom of the first inning.
Yeah, his velocity's been good. His stuff has been very crisp after that injury. This could be a little concerning right here because Zach was out on the mound twisting his trunk back and forth as if it were some kind of a core injury or an oblique injury. So be very careful swinging this bat.
That's how he injured himself in his first season with the D-backs, that oblique on a hard swing, and he wound up missing about 6 weeks. Maeda coming off a 1-2-3 second. He's retired the last 4 he's faced. Following the Descalso RBI single. Mentioned that Maeda might be a little rusty. His only start this year came back on March 31st, so it's been almost 2 weeks. He has worked 1 inning of relief. That was last Saturday against the Giants. But he's only pitched 6 innings all year coming into tonight. And he's behind on the pitcher 3-1.
He's made some good pitches on the corners, but he's off just a little bit. Missed just below the zone, just outside off the zone. Not missing by much.
He walks Greinke to start the third. The second walk issued by Kenta Maeda.
Hey fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free
Number
jumbo
6,
jack
David
tomorrow
Peralta.
at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Peralta was the other base on balls. He walked and scored to lead us off.
And note that even though he looked like he was ready to swing at every pitch, Zach Greinke didn't swing the bat.
Didn't need to, thank goodness. So you're suggesting maybe that was on purpose?
Possibly. But Zach sold it well. You wouldn't have known that he wasn't going to swing the bat. He was tapping his toe, getting his bat back into a hitting position, striding into the pitch, but just never really got it going.
Corey Seager, the shortstop, is just on the first base side of second, so there's a shift on against Peralta. Low strike call there from Dan Isonia, and it's 1-1. David has hit safely in 6 of his last 7 games. 3 of those are multi-hit games. He's reached base safely in every game this year. So he's doing an outstanding job in the leadoff spot.
Now with 2 strikes, the Dodgers back out of their shift a little bit. Corey Seager moves over on the third base side of the bag up the middle of the field. Kike Hernandez close to his normal position at second base.
Fastball is up and it's 2-2. Seems like Maeda, when he is throwing that fastball, he's still kind of nibbling around the edges with it. He's never been a guy that likes to throw that in the strike zone if he doesn't have to, even with the more aggressive approach. Up the middle and into center. A walk and a single for Peralta. First 2 aboard in the D-backs third.
Number 4,
I mentioned the Dodgers came out of that shift and might have got David a base hit right here.
Yeah, that's exactly where Seager was standing.
Yeah.
Just a moment ago.
Yeah, right there. He had moved from the first base side of the bag at second over to the third base side, and David hit it right where he was.
Ketel Marte singled in his first at bat against Maeda. 2 on and no outs. So Ketel now riding an 8-game hitting streak after his single in the first.
mentioned Marte's numbers against Kenta Maeda with his base hit back in the first. He's now 7 for 8 lifetime against Maeda. Some guys, you just see the ball right out of their hands. You can pick up the spin. You immediately recognize the pitch. You know whether it's going to be a ball or a strike. And Marte seems to have that kind of beat on Maeda.
Tapper back to the mound. Maeda's throw pulls Seager off the bag, but Hal Gibson says they got Peralta.
I don't know.
That throw almost went into center field.
Number 44, Paul Goldschmidt.
Jerry Narron on the phone. Greinke in at third. Here's a look. Nope.
Oh, I don't think so. He tried to drag that right toe across the bag as he stretched for that wide throw. He hit the bag on the third base side, but then his foot popped up and appeared to go right over the top of the base.
Call on the field is under
And
review.
the headsets are coming out. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, the third base umpire, will talk to New York.
You know, to throw that wide at second base, Seager did everything he could. That's what infielders are taught to do on wide throws. Try to drag your back foot across the base. He caught it right there, but I think his foot was up in the air when the ball reached his glove.
Arizona is challenging the call on the field as the runner was out at second base.
Well, this is a good opportunity to use a challenge here, because if you can get this call reversed, it's bases loaded, no outs for Goldie.
Ooh.
So this is a big swing moment in the game for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the reality is that's a pretty nice play by Seager to keep that ball out of center field.
They had a similar play in the top of the first inning. Chris Owings hit a tapper back to the mound, and Maeda turned around through to second, and they turned 2 to end the inning. Well, that one almost was wild and into center. Let's have a look at what they're seeing in New York. They're showing it on the scoreboard here. It sure looks like the foot comes off the bag. You're right, Bob. He sweeps that foot across the bag, but the ball's not there yet.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets it in his glove, it looks like the foot is off the base.
Well, and occasionally New York will have angles that we do not.
Well, in the meantime, we get to listen to a little Culture Club.
Who doesn't love that?
Win-win. Wait.
You know, it almost looked like some of the plays we've seen at the plate this year, where the runner's front foot will come down in the dirt and then pop up in the air and go right over home plate. That's kind of what it looked like Seager did out there at second base.
The verdict is in, and he is safe at second. So the Diamondbacks win the challenge, and the bases are loaded with no outs for Goldie. That's an E1 on Maeda. Peralta safe at second. Marte aboard at first. And Greinke in at third. Goldie struck out his first time up. Good fastball at the knees from Maeda. It's 0-1.
We've had those great shots of Goldie in the dugout, visualizing what he's going to see when he gets up to the plate. I think right now you ought to just visualize AT&T Park.
I want to do that everywhere. The way he hit in San Francisco this week. Hard to third, but foul right behind Greinke over there. Goldie has hit safely in 3 straight games and 5 of 6 on the road trip. Couple of singles in St. Louis. He hit for the cycle in the series against the Giants. Greinke's at third, Peralta at second, and Marte at first. And Dodger Stadium, he fares pretty well here as well. A .564 slugging percentage. But down 0-2. Maeda got him with that slider.
Daniel Descalso.
Well, when you're the best hitter on the team, opposing pitchers approach you as such. Maeda with a perfectly executed slider that time for strike 3.
Descalso has the RBI hit, an opposite field single in the first. Daniel batting in the cleanup spot today. That one gets behind Grandal. Greinke is home, and it's 2-1 D-backs.
That'll be ruled a wild pitch. Maeda with a fastball. He just pulls it way inside underneath the glove of Grandal, off the shin guard of Dan Iasonia behind the plate. Gets far enough away for Greinke to score. And 2 more Diamondbacks in scoring position for Daniel.
Peralta now at third. Ketel Marte at second. An error and a wild pitch by Maeda in this inning. Well located fastball there. Maeda so far has induced only 5 swings and misses. 4 of them by Goldie. Mathis had the other.
There is no such thing as an automatic RBI, but this is about as close as you can get. Dodgers playing their infield back, with the exception of Logan Forsythe at third base. I mean, any ground ball anywhere but directly back to the mound or directly to Forsythe at third base, and it should score a run. Daniel's got that opposite field approach working. His base hit came to left field back in that first inning and just missed extra bases down that left field line that time.
That would have been an easy 2-run double for Daniel. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Off the glove of Grandal. D-backs get another freebie here as Peralta makes it 3-1.
That'll be ruled another wild pitch. Kind of an unusual effort there by Grandal. Got his arm turned completely around. That ball just kept tailing away from the left-handed hitter, and Grandal couldn't catch up to it.
Now the infield comes in for LA with Marte at third and 1 out. The count on Descalso is 2-2.
Well, I've been behind the plate when a pitcher has thrown a couple pitches that didn't react the way you expected him to. Right now, Yasmani Grandal probably has a yips back there. Not sure which direction these pitches are going to go. When all else fails, call for a 4-seam fastball and hope it's straight.
Oh,
it was.
He hooked it down the line in right.
Caught a guy in the big leagues by the name of Mike Lacoste. Buffy. Sure. Yeah. Big tall redhead, pitched for the Cincinnati Reds, pitched for the Giants. He threw a heavy sinker, a hard slider, and a split finger, and he didn't know where they were going to go when he let them fly.
That must have been fun.
Oh, man. It was a battle.
Good take by Descalso. He's worked at full 3-2. Chris Owings, the on-deck hitter. Maeda at 50 pitches, 29 strikes. Left field for Kemp. Here comes Marte. 4-1 D-backs. Second RBI tonight for Daniel Descalso, batting in the cleanup spot.
And once again hits the ball hard to the opposite field, chasing Matt Kemp back a couple steps. No chance to throw out Marte at the plate.
I got one for you.
Okay.
D-backs had bases loaded, no outs. They've scored 3 runs without the benefit of a base hit.
It is Friday the 13th.
Must be. Chris Owings hit into a double play to end the first.
Well, the Miami Marlins today scored 3 runs on a sacrifice fly. I still have to look that up and see how it happened. Whoa.
Well, aren't they registered in another country? It's probably,
Yeah.
you know,
Exchange rate or something.
it's all
Yeah.
confusing. CO belts one foul down the left field line. This is how things have gone for the Dodgers. 4-7 coming into this one. Their worst start since 1994. They were beaten here in their last game Wednesday by the Oakland A's. They lost 16-6. Tommy Lasorda looking for answers. Just the 4th time in Dodger Stadium history they gave up at least 16 runs. Their offense has been slow to get going. They're not hitting. The bullpen has just not performed either. Two and 2 on CO. LA, like the D-backs, had yesterday off. But as we mentioned earlier, they have really not received any favors from the scheduling. They just can't get any momentum going. They've had 4 days without a game in their last 8. 3 scheduled off days in a row now. Baseball players are not used to that, not even in early April.
Oh, no. Get into that daily rhythm. You expect to go out there and play a ball game every day. An off day is kind of an unexpected pleasure. Getting that many of them in the first couple weeks of the season is not what any team wants.
And so the D-backs come in here 9-3. 3 games ahead of the Rockies and the Giants, 4.5 up on the Dodgers in the division. Looking for their first ever 10-3 start, and they lead it 4-1. CO putting up a fight here. Chris has 6 hits on the road trip, hitless in his last 2 games at San Francisco. Seventh pitch of the at-bat right here. We'll keep going. Owings knocks it into left center field. Taylor over to cut it off just shy of the warning track. CO hustles in, and he's got his 3rd double this year.
Number 1, Gerard Dyson.
Well, your eyes light up when you see a breaking ball up there around the letters, and CO just tomahawks it back into center field. Great approach, great at bat by Chris Owings.
Yeah, he earned that double, that's for sure.
Did. Foul off the tough ones and hope he makes a mistake, and Maeda did. Hung him a curveball.
Mound visit from Grandal. Trying to get Maeda out of this nightmare 3rd inning already at 60 pitches.
Well, Maeda had been cranking his neck around out there on the mound. Now there he's going to get a visit from the trainer and his pitching coach.
Maeda in this half inning has walked a batter. He's thrown 2 wild pitches and he's had a throwing error.
Of course, this has to be done through a translator. Rick Honeycutt thought this was possibly an injury meeting, but I think that's the translator rather than the trainer. I mentioned earlier the Marlins scored 3 runs on a sacrifice fly. I believe it was Starlin Castro, the hitter. Popped it high in the air. Let's see what happens.
Well, that's Polanco out there in right. Throw is offline, and then they throw it into center field, and that's a big outfield at Marlins Park, and everybody comes on in.
Snowball fight. How about that?
You never know what you're going to see every day.
Well, no apparent injury issue for Kenta Maeda. Gerard Dyson took Puig back to the wall in right field his first time up. Dyson in center field today. A.J. Pollock gets the night off. Torrey likes to call it a combo, backed up against the off day yesterday. Big slow breaking ball for Maeda, and Dyson is down 0-2. Ross Stripling, the right-hander, starts to get loose for the Dodgers. Chris Owings at second, 2 outs, 3 runs are in. Still absolutely no wind to speak of at all here in the ballpark. The flags are dead still out there in center. Very comfortable, cool night here. 35 pitches in this third inning for Kenta Maeda.
As you know, partner, it was very windy here in LA yesterday, just like it was back in the Valley from what I understand. It was really howling here in LA, but not a drop of wind tonight.
People were literally getting blown off their feet in downtown LA yesterday. Dyson shoots one down the line. It's in the corner. This will get Owings home. Back-to-back 2-out doubles for the D-backs, and it's 5-1.
It's just a question now whether Stripling is ready to go or not. Another hanging breaking ball. Man, that one belt high out over the plate. Dyson takes advantage and rips it down into that right field corner for an RBI double.
Dave Roberts to the mound. That will be it for Kenta Maeda, who does not survive the third. We got you some tacos.
Yeah.
That's how you want to start a series in this ballpark. D-backs chase Maeda after 2 2/3. It's 5-1 Diamondbacks. Back after this.
the top half of the third inning. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, like tonight, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Ross Stripling, the right-hander, 16 big league starts on the resume. Transitioned to the bullpen in LA here last year. His 6th appearance this season. He's worked only 8 innings, and Dave Roberts is going to need some length from the right-hander here tonight.
Stripling has been a starter throughout most of his career, so he is a guy that can give you multiple innings if he's effective. 4-pitch mix out there, being a former starter.
Chance to tack on one more run here in the third with Dyson at second, 2 down for Nick Ahmed. Nick popped out his first time up. Diamondback left-hand batters against Maeda tonight. 4 for 6, a walk, sacrifice fly, 3 RBIs. Dyson an RBI double. Descalso has 2 runs batted in. Peralta has walked, singled, and scored twice. Another mound visit burned here by Grandal. By the way, they have a scoring change here. I want to pass this along to you. They changed the wild pitch on which David Peralta scored. That's now a pass ball. The one that clanked off the glove of Yasmani Grandal. Rough and short night for Kenta Maeda, just his 2nd start this year. He may have been a little rusty.
I mentioned it while he was in the ball game. His command on the corners in the bottom of the zone, not as sharp as we're used to seeing it. That's kind of his calling card, his ability to command that fastball around the edges, and he was just missing. Got the benefit of the call on a few borderline pitches, but just not the fine command we're used to seeing.
1-2 on Nick Ahmed. Dyson breaks for third. This is bounced to Seager at shortstop. Diamondbacks get 4. They lead the Dodgers 5-1. 3rd in LA. Don't forget, fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. It's presented locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the app for free. Take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Zach Greinke now with a 5-1 lead as Chris Taylor leads off the 3rd. He led off the ball game with a home run for the Dodgers, his 2nd leadoff homer this week. Here's a look.
Middle of the plate fastball to Chris Taylor, who's steadily hunting fastballs like most big league hitters. If you make a mistake over the heart of the plate, it's probably going to get hit hard.
Taylor's now hit safely in 5 straight games. He leads the National League in leadoff homers since the All-Star break last year. Three and one on Taylor with Seager on deck.
Thrown a couple of really good changeups in this at bat to Taylor. Starting him right in the middle of the plate, letting him bottom out near the knees. Another changeup. That one was left up. Got a better piece of it, pulled it foul.
Greinke tonight facing the Dodgers for the first time since Game 3 of last October's division series. That was at Chase Field. Zach in that ball game gave up 3 runs, 4 hits, and 5 innings. Walked 5 in that game. Taylor shoots the 3-2 to first. Greinke has it. He's retired 5 in a row.
I'm not sure what to make of this. I'll have to ask Goldie about it, but I've commented over the past 6 years that every time they hit a ground ball to first base, Goldie takes it by himself. This year, he's been flipping the ball to the pitcher almost every time.
You know, you're right.
Yeah, maybe they told him, hey, don't spend so much energy. We got a pitcher running over there to cover the bag. You don't have to bust it over there every time. Now, there may be a play here or there where he knows he's got to get over there and beat that runner, but for the most part, he's been content just to feed it to the pitcher covering the bag.
Seager swings at the first pitch, backs Dyson up in center, and he's got it on the warning track. 2 outs.
Number 27, Matt Kemp.
Here's Matt Kemp, who struck out his first time up. Kemp homered here Tuesday against Oakland. His first home run as a Dodger since the 2014 NLCS against the Cardinals. Long time ago, he said. Reaches down and lifts this one along the right field line. And Ketel Marte's got it in foul ground. 7 straight retired by Greinke. He leads at 5-1.
against right-hander Ross Stripling. D-backs will host these Dodgers again this month, April 30th through May the 3rd at Chase Field. So get your NL West rival tickets right now. Get ready to beat LA inside the ballpark. Visit dbacks.com. Get that chant going. 3 consecutive regular season series sweeps against these guys, and a good start to this one. 5-1 as we open up the 4th. Mathis grounded out his first time. Fastball up and away in the zone, and it's 0-2. The pitch at Greinke on deck. How quickly things changed in this start for Zach Greinke. Gave up a leadoff homer to Chris Taylor. He was walking around tweaking, flexing something that didn't feel right out there. The trainer Ryan DePanfilo paid him a visit. But suddenly now he holds a 5-1 lead. He's retired 7 straight batters. Mathis goes down swinging to open up the 4th.
Ross Stripling with a 4-pitch mix.
Pitcher, Zach Greinke.
Cut fastball appeared to be down in the dirt. Got Jeff Mathis to chase that time.
Greinke started off that 4-run D-backs 3rd by walking. Came around in a wild pitch. By the way, we have an interesting side note that our producer Brad the Big Dog Weimer came up with regarding that crazy 3rd inning for Kenta Maeda. The last Dodger pitcher to score 2 runs in the same inning on 2 separate wild pitches was our very own Tom Candiotti, working D-backs radio alongside the Governor Greg Schulte. Now, sadly, the stat is no longer in effect as there was a scoring change. The second one was ruled a pass ball, but there is Candy alongside the Governor and Leo Gilmartin.
So Candy's still in the record books.
Yes, his record is still safe.
Yeah. Well, and Candy had an excuse. He was throwing knuckleballs. He really didn't know where they were going to go.
Neither did Mike Piazza. It was a rough 3rd, certainly, for Maeda. He started it off by walking the pitcher. Had a wild pitch, a pass ball, and a throwing error. That one's just off the plate. It's 1-2. So the D-backs with a 4-run 3rd. They lead at 5-1.
Pretty good emergency swing there for a pitcher. Borderline pitch, too close to take, not really good enough to hit. Zach just did what a hitter does. Stick the bat out there, get a piece of it, make him throw one more pitch. He still doesn't look real comfortable.
Well, he's taking his hacks this time.
Yeah.
David Peralta, the leadoff man, has walked, singled, and scored twice today.
About it all the time. Anytime you can get your pitcher up there to the plate and force that opposing pitcher to throw this many pitches, it's been a good at bat.
And Stripling finally wins the battle with his 2nd strikeout.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
Base is empty, 2 down for Peralta. Well, no sign that anything isn't feeling good in terms of medical attention for Zach Greinke. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Ryan DePanflo, the trainer, checking in.
Well, he's smiling. That's a good sign.
Yeah. Peralta shoots one the other way. It's in the gap in left center. Taylor plays it off the wall. David aboard for the 3rd time tonight.
Welcome back.
What a presence he's been in the leadoff spot.
Call him the Energizer. Jump starts that offense from that leadoff spot. Another hanging breaking ball. David stays right on it to that gap in left center field. Long run for Chris Taylor. David ends up easily at second base with a 2-out double.
Peralta's now hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games, and 4 of those are multi-hit games. He's at second with 2 outs for Marte, who singled in the first. Marte's hit safely in 8 straight games. Had 3 hits Wednesday at San Francisco. That's chopped foul, and it's 0-2. A wave makes its way around the ballpark here. Foul tip. Grandal hangs on, and Stripling strands Peralta. D-backs lead the Dodgers 5-1. Baseball players an invitation to play in Cape Cod Summer Baseball League is an important step on the journey here to the major leagues. A.J. Pollock, Jake Lamb, and the D-backs #1 pick Pavin Smith have all been there.
Don't miss the debut of Cape Cod, a journey to the bigs. Wednesday, 5:30, right here on Fox Sports Arizona. The Cape League, as it's known all over the game of baseball. Cody Bellinger leads off the bottom of the fourth. I've been lucky enough as a Massachusetts native to take in a lot of Cape League games. It is just terrific.
There's a lot of collegiate leagues, summer collegiate leagues, but Cape Cod League is probably the most well-known and where most of the quote-unquote can't-miss prospects go.
There's so many Cape Cod League alumni in the majors. Here's just a few of them. Yarmouth Dennis. Go play over there at Falmouth.
Where do you park?
You go down to Orleans, Massachusetts on a beautiful Cape Cod summer night, sit on the edge of the grass there on the hill and watch the Orleans team play a game. Just gorgeous. Shift is on against Bellinger. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, where did you get to do anything like that?
Yeah.
Alaska, Cape Cod League?
I played 2 years in the Central Illinois Collegiate League in Bloomington.
Not quite as scenic maybe as the Cape League.
Maybe not, but we had some real good competition there. There's a number of guys that played there the 2 years I was there, made it to the major leagues, and it was great baseball. Wood bats. And in Bloomington, we had no lights, so we played all day games. We were the Cubs of the Central Illinois Collegiate League.
Well, you mentioned it, the wood bats. That for a long time has been one of the big appeals of going to see some of these college players, because it's the first time first chance the scouts get to see them using wooden bats as opposed to the metal ones they use in college. On the ground to Goldie. He's going to take that one himself. Beats Bellinger to the bag. That's 8 straight set down by Zach Greinke.
Yeah, right after I say Goldie hasn't been taking him himself this year, that time he did take it himself. Zach a little bit slow getting off the mound that time, which is highly unusual, but with the pull shift on, a lot of defenders on that side of the field, Goldie is able to take it himself.
Here is Yasmani Grandal. He was hit by a pitch his first time up. That one will stay fair for Greinke, and they retire Grandal.
Nicely done right there. Zach just kind of let himself drift across into foul territory to avoid Grandal running down that first baseline. Little swing and bunt. Scoops it up right on the baseline and goes into foul territory to make the throw. Could have very easily let that go. It would have been a foul ball, but Zach thought he could complete the play, and indeed he does.
And then another case of Greinke moving around pretty well after he had that momentary injury delay in the first inning. Yasiel Puig struck out to win the first.
Zach Greinke tonight has gotten 11 swings and misses from Dodger batters through the first 3 innings of the game. 6 of those came on the changeup. You talk about a swing and a miss pitch, usually you're talking about a breaking ball or split finger, something nasty. For Zach, it's the changeup.
Puig sends one out to Owings in right field, and Zach Greinke has retired 10 consecutive Dodgers. D-backs lead at 5-1.
including 42, will be here for Jackie Robinson Day on Sunday.
Let's take a look at our Geico legacy moment on April 13th, 1987. The Giants scored 2 runs in the top of the first in San Diego, but the Padres answered with back-to-back homers by Marvell Wynn, Tony Gwynn, and John Kruk to take the lead in that ball game. Those all came against Roger Mason, the starting pitcher for the Giants. All those pitches were called by Bob Melvin. I wasn't playing that day.
I was going to ask you, are you responsible for any of that?
No, and I got to give it up for Mel. He had 4 hits in that game. He did everything he could do, but rough first inning for Roger Mason.
Pedro Baez, his 6th appearance of the year, on to start the 5th. Paul Goldschmidt leads it off. He struck out twice against Kenta Maeda. This is with a fastball down and away. Goldie in the series against the Dodgers at Chase Field early last week walked 5 times. He didn't get a whole lot to hit in that series. Took some big cuts against Maeda, but struck out in both at bats tonight. In the air to right field for Puig. Daniel Descalso batting cleanup tonight. And so far so good. An RBI single. He knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly. This is the spot, of course, usually reserved for Jake Lamb. We got some very encouraging news on Jake today from Torey Lovullo. He's close. Torey told us that Jake took batting practice in the cage today. He threw, he took some ground balls. And Lamb will go through a full pregame routine again tomorrow, which means, as Torey put it, he's almost a full go coming off that shoulder strain. So it was great to hear that.
I mean, the guys have done a nice job filling in while Jake's been on the disabled list, whether it's Daniel Descalso or Devin Marrero. Chris Owings available to play third base if necessary. But you'd love to have Jake Lamb back in that 4 spot.
Hard to replace that 30 and 100. Steven Souza Jr. has the weekend off. He'll be back in Scottsdale Monday to resume his activity. Descalso caught looking there. Dan Isonia rings him up.
Right fielder Chris Owings.
You can talk to umpires after a called strike 3. There's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. Apparently Daniel did it the right way. Said his piece. Walked back to the dugout. Dan Isonia knows how he felt about that pitch. Just an honest disagreement.
Chris Owings doubled and scored his last time up. CO 1 for 2. I'm impressed by your open-minded approach to having a nice dialogue with the umpires. Reasonable men can agree to disagree, right?
Yeah, my feelings toward the umpires, it really changed a lot when I became a manager.
Really?
Yeah, as a player, you know, I understood it's a tough game, and it's tough for the umpires too. And there's borderline pitches that could go either way, and sometimes they go your way, and sometimes they don't. But well, when I was sitting in that manager's seat, you feel like every at-bat is so vitally important to the game, and within the at-bat, every pitch is so important. You know, those swing pitches, that 2-1 pitch that's called a strike instead of a ball. You should be 3-1. Instead, you're 2-2 in a defensive mode. Those can swing a ball game.
It's interesting that it didn't seem to bother you as much when they were called against you actually standing in the box as opposed to watching from the dugout.
I mean, as a player, you want to win the game and you want all your teammates to do well, but the reality is you're worried about your 4 at-bats in the game and what happens in those 4 at-bats. As a manager, you worry about every at-bat in the game.
It's just too much after a while.
Well, and you do have to pick your spots. I mean, as we've seen on a nightly basis, pitches are going to be missed every night. Some in your favor, some against you. You just have to learn to kind of roll with the punches and know when it's time to argue and when you think an umpire is unfairly calling pitches against your team.
I think I heard you say that on Doug and Wolf the other day.
Yeah, Wolfley, he's got to learn the words to the Ohio U Fight song before the next time I go back on that show.
Is that the deal? Oh, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't play that music when they welcomed you in. Yeah, that was just rude.
That is rude. I even sang part of it for him so he would know the beginning of it.
That was the highlight of the segment for me. Owings chases a high fastball. Baez a 1-2-3 fifth. D-backs lead at 5-1. Every out-of-market regular season game live at home and the office or on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB at Bat Premium, which lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Visit MLB.tv and they'll have all the details for you right there. Logan Forsythe, the third baseman, leads off the LA fifth. 3 of the first 5 batters for the Dodgers reached against Zach Greinke tonight. Taylor had a leadoff homer. Bellinger a 2-out single. Grandal was hit by a pitch. Since then, Zach Greinke has retired every batter he's faced. 10 straight. As Forsythe starts the bottom of the 5th. Zach has not walked a batter. He's got 4 strikeouts. Descalso at third.
Number 14.
Here's Kike Hernandez. Hernandez, a strikeout victim. Hernandez batting 8th tonight. Pitcher spot behind him, and Jock Peterson has come out in the on-deck circle. Ready to hit for Pedro Baez. There is action in the LA bullpen. Hernandez jumps on that one, pops it up. Ahmed at shortstop. Very quickly, 2 outs in the 5th for Greinke. And now Peterson goes back to the dugout. We'll see Kyle Farmer.
Hitting for the Dodgers, number 17, Kyle Farmer.
Farmer just 3 for 12 on the year. D-backs overload the left side of the infield with 3 defenders. Josh Fields warming up in the Dodger bullpen. And Farmer has a base hit. He's now hit safely in 4 straight games, all 4 as a pinch hitter.
Center fielder.
Ends a stretch of 12 in a row retired by Zach Greinke.
Farmer 4 for 5 on the season as a pinch hitter off Dave Roberts' bench. Clean single into left center that time.
Here's Taylor, who homered in the 1st. Greinke at 60 pitches, 38 strikes. Almost half of those pitches came in the 1st inning. Just missed down and away. It's 2-0 on Taylor. Dave Roberts, his team off to its worst start since 1994, 4-7. Two and one. The Dodgers, maybe more than any other team, are extremely patient against Zach Greinke. They don't chase the pitches that are just off the strike zone that Zach usually gets other teams to fish at. They'll just take all the borderline pitches other teams swing at. And before, just like that. And that's called a strike by Sonia. That's been problematic for Greinke. And his best pitch is a chase pitch. And it always seems like he has to work a lot harder and be more precise, more creative against LA than against any other club.
I think you see that when an opposing offense has played behind you for a number of years. They've seen how you attack opposing hitters. They know how much you like to work around the edges and get you to chase bad pitches. So they have come up with an approach against Zach Greinke.
I mean, with what he throws, there's no 97-mile-an-hour fastball. He usually is successful when he gets other teams to chase pitches that aren't strikes, and the Dodgers oftentimes just won't do that. And this is a good example of that. The at bat by Taylor. He's worked at full 3-2. There goes Farmer from first, and that's a called strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Greinke. He leads it 5-1.
so good. Look at this last pitch to Chris Taylor to win the bottom of the 5th.
Now this is that changeup, his swing and a miss pitch. Watch how much it moves. That ball starts right down the middle of the plate, ends up at the inside corner just above the knees. Not only the change in speed, but the movement that he gets on that pitch. That's why it's his swing and a miss pitch.
So far for Greinke, 5 innings. He's given up just 1 run on 3 hits. He's not walked a batter. He's got 5 strikeouts. And the pitch count is in very good shape at 65.
Yeah, there was a long discussion in the dugout between innings. Torey Lovullo, Ryan DePanflo, the trainer, Mike Butcher. They were all talking it over with Greinke. No activity in the bullpen at this point.
New pitcher for the Dodgers, the right-hander Josh Fields, his 7th appearance of the season. Yeah, every time Dippy goes over to check in with Greinke, there's a joke and everybody's smiling and laughing, which we will take as a good sign. No one warming up in the D-back bullpen. Gerard Dyson, the center fielder, will lead off the 6th.
And trying to take that bunt to the first base side of the field, put it in that Bermuda triangle between the pitcher, the second baseman, and the first baseman. But unfortunately, Gerard bunted right through it that time.
Would you like to see him bunt more often?
I would personally, especially leading off an inning. You got a runner at third base, and infield's playing back. Yeah, take advantage of the defense. And with his speed, it doesn't have to be a perfect bunt.
Yeah, good point.
Of course, I'm sure Gerard Dyson has heard that throughout his career, going all the way back to Little League, probably. Dodger relievers sitting down there next to Pedro Baez are all starting to slow down. It's contagious.
It's contagious, exactly. 1-2 on Gerard Dyson. I'd like to see Pedro Baez and the Giants' Corey Guerin go head-to-head. You may never finish that game. Nick Ahmed on deck.
I've never seen in a box score time of game infinity, but that would probably be it. There's an old saying about the game of baseball, since it doesn't have a clock, conceivably you could have a game go on forever.
Those would be 2 relievers you'd see if it did. Forsythe has that in foul ground to start the 6th.
Shortstop Nick Ahmed.
Well, that's something the Dodgers have done throughout their history. I think back to my playing days when Tommy Lasorda was managing the ball club and Ron Perinoski was the pitching coach. And Ron Perinoski could affect the pace of game just by making a visit to the mound. He would take forever to walk out to the mound. He'd stay out there as long as the umpire would allow him. And then he would slow walk it back to the dugout on the third base side, just try to take the momentum away from the other team's offense.
Well, there's still no clock, but they do time those mound visits. You get 30 seconds, and that's it. And you only get 6. That rule, by the way, seems to have worked out very well so far. It's been a total non-issue, and the games have moved along, at least in terms of the mound visits. He cut at that fastball up and in from Fields, and it's 1-1 on Nick. D-backs have out-hit the Dodgers 6-3. They lead at 5-1. That was a good example of what you were talking about earlier, a borderline strike. It registered on our K zone as a ball, but right there.
The clear circle indicates ball. The full circle indicates a strike as it shows up on the computer.
This has been remarkable. Josh Fields has rubbed up the baseball after every pitch. The same ball goes to either the rosin or the shoe scraper on the back of the mound between every pitch.
Well, now he's got a new one coming.
Well, it'll have to be rubbed up, of course. Yeah. Checking his cleats. Yeah. There you go. Took him a little while. Every pitch. This is like a hitter's pre-swing routine. You know, batters step out of the box and they knock the dirt out of their cleats, and they have a certain way they step into the batter's box, right foot first and then the left foot, and then I tap my bat twice on home plate, or whatever the routine happens to be. Josh Fields has his own routine out there on the mound.
He's got to go to the back of the mound every time, get some fresh dirt. Blow on his hands, rub the ball, and we start all over again. Full count on Nick, 3-2. Fastball is up, a 1-out walk for Ahmed.
Catcher Jeff Mathis.
That'll bring up the catcher Jeff Mathis, who's 0 for 2. Zach Greinke has come out in the on-deck circle, so apparently he'll proceed. Showing no ill effects of an apparent, I don't even want to use the word injury now. Something didn't quite feel right in the bottom of the first inning, but since then he's looked terrific. And no word as of yet, as that's in there for a strike, on what was wrong or what wasn't feeling exactly right. We'll find out after the game. Fastball's a high strike, and Mathis goes down looking. 2 outs in the 6th.
Pitcher Zach Greinke.
And Greinke will hit. Zach walked and scored to lead off the 4-run D-back third. Struck out his last time up against Ross Stripling. Fastball up and in. He takes a cut. It's 0-1.
You don't usually see a steal attempt with the pitcher at the plate. 2 outs in the inning. If you happen to get thrown out at second base, you've got the pitcher leading off again in the 7th.
Fields, when he's missing, is missing up, and now he goes back to the mound, gets some dirt, and we start again. We're going to have to add Josh Fields to the list of offenders.
Unfortunately.
Why are they all in the NL West? Well, he just can't get that fastball down. Two and one on Greinke.
That walk to Ahmed was the first base on balls that Fields has issued this year. That's in there for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, 2 walks in the game from Kenta Maeda. That one by Fields. Zach Greinke has not issued a walk in this game.
Fastball right down the middle is fouled back. Shoots that one foul down the right field line.
The next Josh Fields delivery to Zach Greinke will be pitch number 20 that he's seen tonight. That is remarkable for a pitcher. You have that kind of lengthy at bat, foul off some tough pitches.
Been a walk and a strikeout so far for Greinke, and he looks at a fastball for strike 3. Bottom 6th on the way. It's 5-1 D-backs. Dodgers 5-1, and Zach Greinke is out there, having retired 13 of the last 14 that he's faced. He's not walked a batter. He's got 5 strikeouts. He's got to work at the sharp end of the stick here. Seager, Kemp, Bellinger do up 2, 3, and 4 in the Dodgers 6th. Seager so far 0 for 2. First pitch swinging right to Ketel Marte. Good start for Greinke in the 6th.
The fielder,
Matt Kemp 0 for 2. He has struck out and popped out.
Zach Greinke pitching a gem after it looked shaky in that first inning, but he'll want to talk about his offense. This is the 3rd time in his career he's seen 20 or more pitches in a game as a hitter. He did it with the Diamondbacks back in April of 2016. He's done it again here tonight.
And in his most effective at bat, his first one, as you mentioned, he walked. It seemed like he was up there determined not to swing, coming off that discomfort in the bottom of the first. Bullpen has been busy all night for LA. Tony Cingrani, the left-hander. 0-2. Well, as you mentioned in the open, Bob, the last time Zack Greinke pitched here at Dodger Stadium, he pitched very well September 5th last year. 7 innings, gave up only 1 run on 4 hits. And he fans Kemp. 6 strikeouts for Greinke, 2 down.
First baseman, Cody Bellinger.
It's a hard slider, working down and away, more down than away. That's what makes that pitch so effective.
Second time tonight he has struck out Matt Kemp. Bellinger is singled and grounded out. .70 pitches for Greinke, 45 for strikes. On the corner, down and away, it's 0-1. Fly ball, deep right field. Owings at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Cody Bellinger's second this season makes it 5-2. That's just the Dodgers' second base hit since the first inning against Zack Greinke.
There are 2 runs, both coming via the solo home run. Has been said many times, good pitchers tend to give up a lot of solo home runs. Jim Palmer did, Curt Schilling did, a lot of the good pitchers, because you attack that strike zone, and occasionally they're going to get you. But with runners on base, you don't see a lot of long balls when Zack Greinke's on the mound.
Bellinger looked like turned on a breaking ball that was inside. Here's Grandal. Greinke had retired 15 of 16 before the Bellinger homer. Well, that was the case for Zack in his first start this year. Third game of the season against the Rockies at Chase Field. He threw that first pitch curveball to Charlie Blackmon. And that was the only run he gave up in that start. Greinke against Colorado back on the 31st. 1 run, 5 hits in 5 and 2/3. He had 9 strikeouts in that game. Two and 2. 391 feet on the Bellinger homer that bounced into the bullpen. Grandal goes fishing. Greinke has 7 strikeouts. He's through 6 with a 5-2 lead.
Top of the 7th. Well, there have been a lot of off days to start this season, and so there was another one yesterday, and a couple guys took advantage of this. Patrick Corbin out at Universal Studios Hollywood, and then Taiwan Walker was out at Disneyland enjoying some time with his wife and his young son Zayden, and had a good time. Zayden's still only 8 months old, so a lot of sleeping going on mainly there. But you know what, guys, you're talking about the wind, and despite that wind, they were out golfing. Robbie Ray, who apparently shaved his head on the off day, which I guess he does around this time of year every year because it's getting hot, but said John Ryan Murphy, great golfer out there, TJ McFarland pretty good, and Archie Riley pretty good too. And of course the coaches played hoops.
They did. They went to Pepperdine, Jody. Tori was telling us today. Tony Cingrani, the left-hander, will start the 7th against David Peralta. Peralta has walked, singled, doubled, and scored twice tonight, for all from the leadoff spot.
Yeah, apparently the Hoopsters went over to Malibu to play at Pepperdine and ran into a little traffic on the way back.
Well, when are you going to hang out in Malibu on your off day? It's got no sympathy from us. Yeah, Torrey was telling us he still has a house here, of course. He was going to invite, everybody over on the off day, have a big cookout or something, but plans got all jumbled up. And it's a good thing because he went there and he got locked out. Yeah, no key.
Uh-oh.
So they had to scramble and come up with plan B. Fastball right down the middle at 95.
Well, Roger Craig did that back in the day. Roger had a ranch outside of San Diego, and when the Giants would go to play the Padres, if we ever had an off day, he'd invite everybody out to the ranch. We rode four-wheelers and rode horses, and it was just a great day.
It's like camp.
It was a lot like camp.
Well, we got a beach ball out there in the left field warning track. Good fastball from Cingrani. Peralta goes down looking.
Second baseman number 4, Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte. He has singled and scored a run tonight. Now he'll bat from the right-hand side against the left-hander Cingrani. Marte is a natural right-hand hitter. He's got power from either side of the plate. Zach Buchanan was writing in The Athletic this week that if you notice Ketel's batting stance up there, he's a lot more upright. See, he's leaning backward almost. He used to be a lot more sort of bent at the knee, kind of crouched over when he first came up with the D-backs. But he'll get even more upright when he's batting from his natural side, which is right-handed. Standing straight up.
We've talked about Robbie Ray and some of the mechanical issues he's had out there on the mound, and Torrey has talked about Robbie bending over too far at the waist in his delivery, and his arm can't catch up, and he consistently leaves the fastballs up and away. Hitters can get into the same kind of issues. Bending over too far at the waist, too much flex in your knees, your head's moving while you're striding into the pitch. A lot of different things can go wrong mechanically.
Well, the part that had Dave Magadan wondering what was going on was because Ketel, you've got double the mechanics now as a switch hitter.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of a difference with Ketel, right-handed versus left-handed. There's Mags.
I was very fortunate to be around two of the best switch hitters in the history of the game, Willie McGee and Chili Davis. And I used to enjoy talking to those guys about the issues you have as a switch hitter. Willie McGee said he never felt locked in from both sides of the plate at the same time.
I bet.
But you look at his career numbers, and he was locked in from one side or the other.
We just saw him in St. Louis over the weekend. Boy, Goldie has been taking his hacks here tonight. He struck out twice and flied out 0 for 3. Can't be easy trying to switch hit in the big leagues.
What a great weapon if you can. That breaking ball is always coming into you.
Another swing and a miss by Goldie on a fastball, and it's 1-2. Cingrani can bring it, mid-90s heat. Goldie, a .325 career hitter in this ballpark. 52 games at Dodger Stadium. He's got 14 home runs. Lays off a breaking ball low. 2-2.
Really shouldn't be surprised by those numbers here at Dodger Stadium, but this has historically been a real good pitcher's park. Now, the last couple of years, the ball has flown a little better because of the drought they've had here in Southern California, but this has historically been a real tough place to hit and hit home runs.
That's trying to get out of here. It'll reach the seats. Now, when you played with that marine layer and all that, it must have been tough.
This is the only ballpark I did not homer in the National League. Ken Landros stole one from me one night. I came back the next night and Dusty Baker got me, took one back into the ballpark. That's as close as I came.
2-2 to Goldie. Shoots one the other way. Bellinger way off the bag and a wild throw to Cingrani.
Boy, we have seen Paul Goldschmidt take some really pretty swings over the years. This is not one of them. That fastball running in, got right in on his hands. He just kind of fights it off, pushes it to the right side of the field, but fortunately that's that Bermuda Triangle over there. Tough play for Bellinger, fading away. Throws a rocket off the facing of the stands.
No scoring decision as of yet. The hitter is Daniel Descalso. A base hit, they say, so a single for Goldie. He's at first with 2 outs. Daniel, a single and a sac fly. He's knocked in a pair of runs tonight. Batting in the cleanup spot, Torey Lovullo, never afraid to utilize Descalso's versatility. Torey was telling us, you know what, you can hit him 8th, you can hit him 1st, you can bat him 4th. Doesn't faze him. Just plug him in. Can't lay off that one.
I think that's the same beach ball that fell on the field earlier. Now it's over in left center.
Remember that used to happen in the bullpen at Fenway Park. Bob Stanley would take the rake, hold it up in front of the entire bleachers, and then just destroy the beach ball and put an end to that. The Stanley Steamer. One and two on Descalso. No, he didn't, says Brian Gorman. D-backs looking at the lefty right now, Singrani. They'll face 2 more left-handers in this series. Rich Hill starts tomorrow night against Taijuan Walker. And then Sunday here, Clayton Kershaw versus Zach Godley. 2-2. Descalso hits a fly ball deep right field, and there it goes. Daniel Descalso, a 2-run homer. His second this year. He's knocked in 4 tonight, and the D-backs have a 7-2 lead. Not a bad night from the cleanup spot for number 3.
The mad scientist plugs in Daniel Descalso in that 4 spot. It's a sac fly back in the 3rd, a RBI single in the 1st, and now a 2-run bomb to deep right field.
Yasiel Puig didn't even blink on that one.
Hanging breaking ball from a lefty. Daniel's done a really fine job against left-handed pitching this year. Yeah, Puig's just going to watch that one sail on out.
Here's Chris Owings.
Second home run of the season for Daniel Descalso against a left-handed pitcher.
The other one was against Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
That came last week at Chase Field. 1-0 on CO. Just a bit outside. Going to be interesting to see how long this sits with Dodger fans. If this doesn't change, LA will drop to 4-8 on the year. They'll be 5.5 games behind the D-backs in the division. A little too early to start worrying about that, but 5.5 is a number that you go, interesting.
I heard some of the beat writers here in Southern California when I was in the lunchroom earlier, and they were expressing concern. Let's just put it that way.
Baseball writers? No.
Yeah.
Come on. Those guys are the most optimistic bunch you'll find. Especially out here. Do they have a particular issue that they were most concerned about?
They were a little upset with the 8-man bullpen. A couple of guys down there haven't really been carrying their weight up to this point. Dave Roberts has been forced to manage with a short bench almost all season long. And when your team's not scoring a lot of runs, adding another bat to the roster always sounds like an appealing proposition. So a lot of the people close to the team, including the writers, think that maybe it's time to add another bat on the bench. Somebody you can use to pinch hit late in the ball game, break it open. But then you have a night like tonight when Maeda only goes 2 2/3 and you need a bunch of bullpen.
They've used 4 relievers already. Scott Alexander, their big offseason acquisition in the bullpen, has had a rough start to the year. Wilmer Font has struggled lately as of late. 2-2 on Owings. And CO is swinging a miss. Daniel Descalso tacks on a 2-run homer, 7-2 D-backs. Lefty, he makes it 7-2 D-backs. Fans will commemorate Archie Bradley's wild card game triple with the Archie Bradley audio bobblehead, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. That's coming up Saturday, April 21st. D-backs and Padres at Chase Field. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. Zach Greinke out there for the home half of the 7th inning. And Yasiel Puig, who's 0 for 2, leads it off for LA. Boy, Greinke gave up that leadoff homer to Chris Taylor and then felt a tweak or a twinge somewhere. Ryan DePanfilo, the trainer, had to make a mound visit. But since then, Greinke has been outstanding. He's given up tonight only 2 runs on 4 hits. He's got 7 strikeouts. And Greinke, as TJ McFarland starts to get loose, really labored through that first inning. He threw 25 pitches in the first. But since then, his pitches per inning, 8, 11, 9, 12, and 13. So he has been in control ever since the first. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach. 2-1 on Puig. TJ McFarland hasn't had the chance to work a whole lot lately. He's been up a couple of times, and it just didn't work out to get him into the game. And so there's no need to stretch Greinke out here. It'd be nice to get TJ some work with a 5-run lead. Full count, 3-2. All the Dodgers scoring has come on solo homers. Taylor in the first and Bellinger in the 6th. This is a D-backs team down some key offensive pieces, still off to its best start in 10 years. And as Torey Lovullo has always insisted, the starting staff has set the tone. And Greinke has certainly continued that narrative here tonight. The starting pitchers have been leading the team, giving them chances to win games. Not only setting the tone, but shaping the game. When they pitch well, everything, Bob, seems to fall into place.
Starting pitching works. Your offense doesn't have to work so hard to score runs and win games. Your bullpen doesn't have to work as hard. You can use those guys in an orderly fashion. Everything works off that starting pitching.
Still 3-2 on Puig.
When you combine good defense behind good starting pitching, run prevention, you don't have to score as many runs.
And the run prevention for a team right now working without its 4 and 5 hitters has been paramount, and so far it's been exceptional. Missed inside. First base on balls issued by Greinke tonight. A leadoff walk to Puig.
Third baseman, number 11, Forsythe.
Here's Forsythe 0 for 2. Forsythe, another Dodger, off to a slow start offensively. He's under $170 for the year. His only homer came off Yoshi Hirano at Chase Field last week. Hitting coach Turner Ward, Sunday starter Clayton Kershaw. That is fair down the left field line just by Descalso. Puig will stop at third, and Forsythe is in at second.
Nice effort by Daniel Descalso down there at third base. The diving attempt, he just slows it down a little bit, knocks it into foul territory. Nick Ahmed had to come over and get the ball. By the time he retrieves it, the Dodgers have runners at second and third with nobody out.
And the hitter is Kike Hernandez. Pitcher spot behind him, Jock Peterson in the on-deck circle. Hernandez 0 for 2. Well, you see Hernandez, especially against a right-hand pitcher like Greinke, has really opened up with that front side. That front foot used to dangle out, hang over home plate. He's really trying to do better against righties. Look how open he is with that stance. Used to be a lot more closed off. And indeed, he pulls it down the line, but just foul. Just trying to get short and quick to the ball.
One thing Hernandez does that's a little unusual, he stands closer to the pitcher than most right-handed hitters. That hole that he digs for his right foot in the batter's box is a good 6 or 8 inches in front of the hole most of the right-handed hitters stand in.
Swing and bunt. Greinke is on it. Everybody has to stay put. First out in the bottom of the 7th.
Swing and bunt to the left side. What a great play. Barehanded and fired all in one motion. This is a guy that's obviously not fully at 100%. Made a great defensive play right there to keep the runners at second and third, get the first out of the inning.
Mound visit now for Mathis as they recall Peterson back to the dugout, and Austin Barnes will be the hitter. Dan Isonia checking in to break this up. Mike Butcher on the phone. TJ McFarland is ready in the D-back bullpen. And here comes Torey Lovullo, a slow walk to the mound. It was a rough start for Zach Greinke. Chris Taylor hit a leadoff homer. Something appeared to be wrong physically with Zach, but he settled down nicely, and he was brilliant here tonight. He'll leave leading 7-2. And laughter as his night ends here in the 7th inning. Built for baseball, presented by T-Mobile, the best network for streaming baseball, because your stadium should be where you make it. You see the trainer there on the left, Ryan DePanfilo. Well, these two are just having a grand old time in there in the dugout. Nothing appears to be wrong with that.
Yeah, you get the feeling if there was something really urgent that he'd be up in the training room right now getting treatments, maybe seeing a doctor. But yeah, it looks like any other start for Zach Greinke coming out after 6 1/3.
Just the third appearance of the year for the left-hander TJ McFarland. He's got Puig at third, Forsythe at second, 1 out. And the pinch hitter is Austin Barnes, 4 for 16 to start the year.
I haven't seen TJ McFarland for 10 days. Last time he pitched was against the Dodgers back on April 3rd.
Yeah, he's the one guy that Torrey really wants to get some work for. It was up a couple of times in San Francisco, but the way the game unfolded, it just wasn't the right time to bring him in. So he's on now, trying to strand these 2 Dodger runners in the home half of the 7th. Barnes is a pretty patient guy up there. He'll walk a lot and make you throw him strikes. Had a good year with LA last season, an on-base percentage over 400. Archie Bradley starts to get loose in the D-back bullpen. And TJ may run into the same trouble that seemed to plague Kenta Maeda, just a little bit of rust. Behind on Barnes, 2 balls and a strike. Drop to first. Goldie looks Puig back to the bag at third, and TJ gets a big out, number 2.
Center fielder, number 3, Chris Taylor.
So far, just what the doctor ordered. Runners at second and third. Zach Greinke got the swinging bunt from Kike Hernandez, kept the ball on the infield. Now TJ McFarland gets a ground ball to the right side. Neither Dodger runner can advance. Keep it in the infield.
Taylor 1 for 3. He hit a leadoff homer. His second home run of the year, his second leadoff home run this week. Had one against the A's here the other night. Puig, the runner at third. Logan Forsythe at second, 2 outs. Three and 0. Corey Seager on deck. Fastball in at the knees.
And McFarland steadily working across the bottom of that zone. He was among National League relief leaders last season in ground ball percentage. Almost 70% of the balls put in play against him were on the ground.
They just got 1 big ground ball out. Looking for 1 more here. 3 and 1. Gets the low strike call from Dan Isonian, and it's full 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Late movement here.
Dave Roberts, that's low. Little tapper, tricky play. Descalso barehands it. And Taylor's safe at first. Puig scores, and it's 7-3.
most of these swinging bunts would happen before 2 strikes. With 2 strikes on Taylor, Daniel Descalso backed up several steps defensively at third base. That swinging bunt ends up driving home a run.
And here's Seager 0 for 3.
That's just buzzard luck right there. Got the desired result, made a good pitch, got the ground ball he was looking for. Unfortunately, hit in a spot where nobody could make the play.
Caught the corner for a strike. Seager last year hit lefties .325 and 8 homers. Forsythe is at third. Taylor at first. 2 outs, a run is in. You've got a right-hander ready in the bullpen. Archie Bradley. Kemp, their hottest hitter, is on deck. Up the middle and through. Forsythe scores. Taylor digging for third, and it's 7-4.
Again, good pitch down in the zone, gets the ground ball he's looking for. Unfortunately, finds that hole. Ketel Marte shading over in the hole between first and second. That one sneaks through into center field for an RBI base hit.
Boy, TJ has done everything they could have asked of him. And now Torrey will check in with Dan Isonia. The hitter will be Kemp.
Might see A.J. Pollock come in as part of a double switch.
We'll sort it out when we come back. 7-4 in the 7th. Zach Greinke, his first win of the year. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks. The 9th time already this year. The right-hander Archie Bradley on to face Matt Kemp. And it's a double switch for Torey Lovullo. A.J. Pollock checks in and takes over in center field. Gerard Dyson moves over to right, replacing Chris Owings. Pollock bats 9th, pitcher spot is 5th in the Diamondback order. Here's Kemp 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Taylor is the runner at third, and Seager at first. 2 outs. Kemp, the hottest bat in this lineup right now, 3 consecutive multi-hit games. He homered here Tuesday against the A's. Fastball away, and it's 1-1. Matt Kemp, career against Archie, 3 for 10. '97, great location there, down and away. Dan Isoni has been pretty consistent tonight. Anything on the borderline, anywhere in the zone, has been called a strike. A slow roller that gets into center field. Taylor is home, Seager's at third, and it's 7-5. Well, the Diamondbacks should have been out of this inning 3 or 4 times over now. Every Dodger tapper, every ground ball seems to find open space.
They're finding holes. Archie made a bad mistake there. Belt high fastball over the middle of the plate. And Kemp, there's an easy ground ball, 99 hopper up the middle. Got to stop this merry-go-round.
Ty runs are on base now. Go ahead run at the plate. It's Bellinger who homered off Greinke his last time up. He's 2 for 3. Fly ball center field, Pollock. Drifting back to the warning track. Dodgers get 3. D-backs lead is 7-5. Lead is now 7-5, the opener of this 3-game series. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 here tomorrow night. Taijuan Walker against lefty Rich Hill. D-backs live pregame show at 5:30. It's a 6:10 first pitch tomorrow night on Fox Sports Arizona.
Good matchup tomorrow. Great matchup on Sunday. Kershaw and Godley. Can you imagine if you got Godley against Rich Hill? You'd see more curveballs than any game in the history of Major League Baseball.
I think you're right. Either way, we'll see plenty of them this weekend. Godley and Kershaw Sunday. 6th Dodger pitcher of the evening after a short night for Kenta Maeda. And here's the right-hander JT Chagua. Dyson will lead off the Arizona 8th. Gerard had an RBI double in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3 tonight. That one got Dan Isonia back there.
Off the right shoulder. He's got a chest protector with shoulder pads on underneath that blue shirt, but that couldn't have felt too good.
That's going to hurt when he tries to play the bagpipes. Dan Isonia is a bagpiper.
Really?
From the state of Connecticut. And now having to check in with Torey Lavello here. Going to say that Dyson offered at that one? No. Didn't hit him.
It hit the catcher's mitt. Got no part of Gerard Dyson. Oh, man.
Wow.
That's not right. Yeah, many times on a play like that, the umpire goes on sound. He thought he heard the ball hit Gerard Dyson, but it was indeed the catcher's mitt of Yasmani Grandal that the ball ticked off of.
It made a very loud sound. You can hear it up here plain as day. Brian Gorman, the third base umpire, is the crew chief. Adrian Johnson at first base, and now Isonia will check with his base umpires. There's Brian Gorman. What did you have? Here's a look.
It didn't hit him, and it certainly didn't hit the bat. Man, that might be Torey's argument. If you heard it hit something, you need to check, did he swing? And it was clear Gerard Dyson never got the bat off his shoulder in an attempt to get out of the way of the pitch, so it couldn't have been a swing. If he heard some noise, it had to be a hit by pitch.
Just saw him call Torey back from the dugout. Now he'll get an explanation. He's saying Isonia signaling 2 balls and no strikes. Still 1-1 on the board. And now Isonia again signaling 2.
Yeah.
And now we're set to go.
That's an unfortunate bat right there for Gerard Dyson.
Shortstop number 13.
Clearly not
Ahmed.
hit by the pitch. Clearly not a foul ball. Man.
So now here's Nick Ahmed. Nick walked his last time up, 0 for 2. Ahmed gets into one, sends Kemp back to the wall. Matt Kemp, it's over his head and gone. Nick Ahmed is second this year, and it's 8-5 D-backs.
Catcher number 2, Jeff Mathis.
Just enough to get it out of here. Chagua with that low 3/4, almost sidearm delivery. That fastball tailing right back into the swing of Nick Ahmed. Long home run, not a long home run, just enough of a home run.
And an awkward landing by Matt Kemp. You saw him get up a little gingerly. That's a jumbo jack. Free jumbo jack tomorrow with Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Strike one to Jeff Mathis. Here's Kemp. Up on the scoreboard, just out of his reach.
Yeah, that was good right there. He timed his leap against the wall perfectly, but came down awkwardly on that right leg. You love to see that from Nick Ahmed. A 2-0 pitch. Last year he might have tried to goose that ball into right field or ground it up the middle for a base hit. This year, when he's got counts in his favor, he's looking to drive the ball.
And he's got the power to do it. And Sonia rings up Mathis. 2 down in the 8th. We'll mention that the Dodgers, when they were beaten here Wednesday by the Oakland A's, lost that one 16-6. Just the 4th time in Dodger Stadium history they gave up at least 16 runs. So Dodger pitchers in the last 2 games have given up 24 runs on 30 hits, including 5 home runs. First at bat tonight for A.J. Pollock. AJ 6 hits on the road trip, including 3 doubles and a homer. Dodgers have 3 defenders on the left side of the infield. Fastball up, and it's 1-1. Center field for Taylor. Broke back, now has to come in. But the Diamondbacks get a run back. Nick Ahmed's 2nd home run this year. Out to left field here in LA. And as we hit the bottom of the 8th inning, D-backs lead the Dodgers 8-5. D-backs have an 8-5 lead as we start the home half of the 8th inning at Dodger Stadium. Archie Bradley back out there as Monty Grandal leads off the LA 8th. Grandal, Puig, and Forsythe do up 5, 6, and 7 for the Dodgers. Archie working quickly. It's 2-1. Center, a leadoff single.
Right fielder number 66. Yes, Puig.
Puig walked and scored in the 7th. He's 0 for 2.
We go for 8 lifetime against Archie Bradley. Only 1 strikeout among the 8 at-bats that Puig has had against Archie.
Fastball in, it's 1-0. Puig has hit 3rd in the lineup for Dave Roberts all season long. He dropped to 6th tonight. Stuck right now in a 4 for 21 skid. D-backs lead at 8-5, each team with 9 hits. Just off the plate, but Dan Isonia says strike 2. I still can't figure out how 4 umpires missed that pitch to Dyson. That was. Now I see what you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Fastball is low at 97. 3-2 with Forsythe on deck. Dodgers will get the tying run to the plate with no outs in the 8th. It's Forsythe who doubled his last time up. Puig continuing to show increased patience. His second base on balls tonight. Grandal at second and Puig at first. Fly ball right field for Dyson. Grandal at second. He will tag and head for third. And that's the first out here in the game. Bullpen's been busy all night for LA. Alexander, the left-hander, the ground ball specialist. Jansen, the closer, the right-hander. Jock Peterson will hit for Kike Hernandez.
Peterson hitting 143 on the season. Really struggling. I mean, just the fact he wasn't in the lineup tonight against Zach Greinke, a left-handed hitting outfielder, tells you how badly he's struggling.
Dave Roberts looking to tie it up with one swing here. Pitcher spot is behind Peterson, and Chase Utley, another left-hand batter, is out of the on-deck circle. Peterson just 3 for 21 this year. He does have 2 career home runs against Archie Bradley. Grandal, the runner at third. Puig at first and 1 out. Ball up and away. Archie behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Peterson's offense has tailed off lately. Last year 11 homers after hitting 26 and 25 the previous 2 seasons. Fastball right by him, 2-1. Missed down and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. Utley is on deck.
Saw a big home run swing, 2-0. Probably see the same thing right here on the 3-1 pitch.
The bases are loaded. Second walk in the inning issued by Archie Bradley. And here comes Utley.
Is hitting for the Dodgers, number 26, Chase Utley.
Utley 261 with a homer. Batting for the pitcher. Bases full of Dodgers. 1 out. Utley is the last player on the bench for Dave Roberts. He's run through everybody. First pitch is a fastball fouled away, 0-1. Utley now 39 years old. Been around a while. 7 grand slams in his career. He is the go-ahead run at the plate with 1 out. Oh, and 2. Over the mound. It kicks off Ahmed. Grandal scores. Puig right behind. Peterson in at third. 8-7. At looked like it would get the D-backs out of the inning. Instead, it's 2 Dodger runs.
It looked like a double play ball right over the bag a second. I think it actually hit the base and ricocheted away from Nick. That ball leading him right into a double play. It hits the corner of the base and ricochets out into shallow left center. Wow.
Well, that's the way things went for the Dodgers in the 7th inning. A bunch of ground balls that just found open spots. That one found the bag. And now LA with 1 out in the 8th. And Andrew Chafin quickly getting ready in the bullpen as the tying run at 3rd. Here's Taylor, the leadoff man, who was homered and singled. He's knocked in 2. This is bounced to shortstop. Marte for 1. Goldie scoops it, and they turn 2. LA adds 2. We hit the 9th. D-backs hanging on to an 8-7 lead. You D-backs still lead the Dodgers. It's 8-7. And fans, you can stream live D-backs games on any of your mobile devices with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs with you wherever you go. The closer is on for the Dodgers in the 9th. It's Kenley Jansen, the 6th reliever used by Dave Roberts here tonight. It's been a struggle for Jansen this year. An ERA near 8. He's worked 4 2/3. Utley remains in the game. He takes over at 2nd for Kike Hernandez. Jock Peterson, the new center fielder.
Number 6, David Peralta.
David Peralta, the leadoff man, leads off the 9th. He has walked, singled, doubled, and scored twice tonight.
I may remember last time we saw Jansen at Chase Field, he was really messed up mechanically, was double leg kicking, doing all kinds of funny stuff out there on the mound that we've never seen him do before.
Velocity was down with the cutter. It has been back up as of late, so that problem seems to have been solved. But yeah, it was like he was trying to trick guys. He's never had to do that before with his stuff. Peralta does have a home run against Kenley Jansen.
I mean, we've seen Jansen in the past quick pitch from time to time where he comes up into the set position and just glides right into his delivery, doesn't have a big leg kick, but he was doing all kinds of funny stuff at Chase Field. think that's an example of that last pitch right there. You saw Yasmani Grandal moved way off the inside corner and had the glove up around the letters. They wanted to push David Peralta off the plate with that last cutter. It was right down the middle.
He has not been the same guy. That's no doubt about that.
We'll try to go back in there again.
Pops it up to shortstop.
Well, he was one pitch late, but that's what Yasmani Grandal wanted him to do on the previous pitch. Got right in on the hands of David Peralta.
Ketel Marte. Brad Boxberger getting ready in the D-back bullpen. Dodgers will have some of the big boys coming up in the ninth. Seager, Kemp, Bellinger, 2, 3, and 4.
Now, many times when you look down to the bullpen, you'll see Brad Boxberger just standing there. He doesn't need a lot of pitches to get ready to come into the ball game.
He gets hot very quickly, and he uses some of those warm-up pitches out on the mound. Jansen missing up. It's 2-0 on Ketel Marte. This is in.
Good take right there. That's that one that comes to eat. That cutter inside to a lefty. It looks like a strike. By the time you get the bat into the hitting zone, it's right in on your hands.
No need to swing at that on 2-0. Seager again, and that one's just over his head. Marte's aboard, a one-out single. His second hit tonight.
First baseman number 44, Paul Goldschmidt.
Really had to fight that one off. That's that cut fastball from Kenley Jansen. Got in near the trademark, but Marte gets just enough to squeak it over the head of Corey Seager for a one-out base hit.
Goldie singled and scored his last time up, 1 for 4 tonight. He had an infield hit in the 7th, a tweener that Bellinger couldn't quite make a play on at first. Career numbers against Jansen, 4 for 20. Cutter down and away, 0-2. Lines it to Utley, and Marte is back in time. The throw to first was high. 2 down for Descalso.
Third baseman number 3,
Good night for Daniel.
Descalso.
We flash back. Last season, Descalso off Kenley Jansen.
Pitch hitter number 22, Jake Lamb.
Tonight, Descalso has an RBI single. He's knocked in a run with a sac fly, and he's hit a 2-run homer.
No tricks tonight from Kenley Jansen. That delivery he's featuring tonight looks a lot like he threw the ball last year. He can occasionally get really slow to home plate out of the stretch.
Utley from the outfield grass. Seager, Kemp, Bellinger due up. Brad Boxberger on his way in. Backs at different points in this game led the Dodgers 1-0, 5-1, 7-2, and 8-5. It's now 8-7 as we hit the bottom of the 9th inning. Zach Greinke was outstanding. The Dodgers have found some open spaces with some of their hits. And Brad Boxberger, who got the final 3 outs Wednesday in San Francisco on 9 pitches, will face Corey Seager, Matt Kemp, and Cody Bellinger in the LA 9th.
9 strikeouts in his 6 innings of work, a perfect 4 for 4 in saves this season. He get 5 out of 5.
Seager had an RBI single. He's 1 for 4. On the 2-0, but pops up to center.
Big out right there. Not that the Dodgers play a lot of small ball, but in a 1-run ball game, getting that first out in the 9th is huge.
Here's Kemp. Eight hits in his last 16 at bats, Matt Kemp, as he steps in here. First pitch is a strike, fastball down and away, 0-1.
good thing about Brad Boxberger coming over from the American League. The Dodgers, nobody in the National League for that matter, has had much of a look at him. Matt Kemp has 2 career at-bats. Chris Taylor with 2 career at-bats. That's the high for the Dodgers.
And he's been closing games in the American League East, so he's used to the deep end of the pool. 2 balls and 1 strike on the Dodgers left fielder. D-backs off to their best start in a decade at 9-3. They have never opened a season 10-3. Bellinger will be next. Boxberger, a fastball up and in. 2 down.
First
You don't
base,
see
number
Brad
35.
elevate a lot, but he blows this one right by Matt Kemp up there above the letters. Well, even in 91, 92, you put it in that location, it's tough to catch up to.
Bellinger, last man standing. He has singled and homered tonight. It was 5-1, 7-2, and 8-5. Trying to hang on here at 8-7 with 2 outs in the 9th. Well, just what you were talking about, Bob.
92 up and out over the plate. Bellinger swings right through it. Now you could either bounce a changeup in the dirt, throw another elevated fastball inside. Looks like he wants to throw a changeup right here.
Shift is on for the D-backs. And he hits it right through just by a diving Goldie. A 2-out single for Bellinger. And we'll see Yasmani Grandal.
Strike changeups Bellinger handles pretty well, and that's what happened here. Brad Boxberger bit off a little bit too much of the strike zone, and he drives it through that right side. Get that same pitch down there around the knees, bottoming out in the dirt. He might swing at that one too.
First pitch swinging, pops it up. Descalso at third. Box him up. D-backs win it 8-7. And for the first time in their history, the Arizona Diamondbacks have opened a season 10-3.
Well, it wasn't exactly the way you draw it up on the chalkboard when you leave the clubhouse, but a win is a win is a win. Diamondbacks had to hang on by the skin of their teeth tonight. Great job by Zach Greinke. You can't say enough about the job he did tonight after Kenta Maeda gave the Dodgers a real short outing. It looked like Zach Greinke was going to do the same, but gutted it out, pitched into the 7th inning.
Greinke at one point retired 15 of 16. He gets his first win on the year, and the D-backs have now won 10 straight regular season games against the LA Dodgers. They take the opener here this weekend 8-7. And for the first time ever, the D-backs are 10-3. Jody Jackson standing by.